TD Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Diamond, your State Farm Insurance agent in DeKalb. Call 815-748-3101 or stop by at 2587 Sycamore Road, Suite D in DeKalb. Like a good neighbor, Scott Diamond and State Farm are there. Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more at 824 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. Don't forget Kids Eat for Free on Thursday. For delivery or pickup, go to pizzavilla.com or call 815-758-8116. Elder Care Services of DeKalb. Safe, secure, and supported, helping you stay in home where you want to be. Call 815-758-6550 or stop in at 1701 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb or on the web at ecsdekalb.org. My Insurance Guy in Sycamore covers Medicare to auto care and everything in between. Stop by at 204 South Main Street in Sycamore. Call 815-899-0950 or online at myinsuranceguy.com. Welcome into TD Ryan Unleashed News Podcast number 36. As always, the oak tree of the news department, Dan Lynch with us. Dan, how you doing, my friend?
Doing well. Spring is coming.
I love how you always think about it. You don't just automatically respond there. And of course, joining us, honored and privileged to have us with the third ward alderman, my alderman in the city of DeKalb, Tracy Smith. Tracy, how you doing today, buddy?
I am doing great.
Thank
great.
you.
Maybe because I'm going on vacation tomorrow. Yeah, I'm doing great today, guys. Thank you.
And last week we welcomed the Junction Eating Place. Again, we thank so much Chris and the gang over there at the Junction Eating Place. Check them out at 816 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. And also Takis to go. You got great food and, of course, all your American traditional food that you want for your parties and whatnot. Go to takistogo.com, Takes, takistogo.com. And we're going to get everybody hungry, too. We're also our friends at Faranda. So their fish fry every Friday night until Easter. Friday night from 4 to 6 o'clock. We'll tell you more about that as they are sponsoring our sports right now, but we want to welcome there. And sorry if we got you hungry. I know, Tracy Smith, you probably spent some time in those fine establishments.
A long time at the Junction. Chris and his family, we went way back. So my mom and dad were great friends with their both uncle and parents. So, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know until I was researching this that you grew up in DeKalb with six siblings, right?
Correct. I was actually born in Aurora. I'll be honest with that. Okay. My mom and dad moved over when I was 5. And but, yeah, I've been here a lot of years. So my mom just passed away, 92. She lived in the same house since she moved here in 62. So that'll...
Sorry to hear that about you. My mom lived to be 94, too, and just an amazing lady. You know, she had to raise essentially 5 boys when my father passed away. And as you know, looking back, I always apologize for my teenage years. And Mom, sorry, I didn't know what
same here. Yeah. I was the oldest of 6, or oldest of 7. But there is one good side of that, though. My mom's oldest sister is still living, and she's actually living with my sister. She's 104.
Oh my gosh!
And still going strong.
That's
still
wonderful.
going strong. So yeah.
Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Tracy Smith, because, again, doing research, I didn't realize how long police officer since, well, you were a sheriff from in the sheriff's department from 80 to 85, and then you were police officer from 85 to your retirement in 2016, and you became a third ward alderman in 2019. So you've never rested, have you? We just continued
No, I like to keep busy. I you and I've talked. I just got to keep busy. I got to keep, my mind fresh and moving forward. And sometimes my wife thinks I'm a little off the deep end, but or take on too much. But that's just who I am. So
now, if I have it right, you were also a school resource officer, right, Tracy?
No, I was not.
Oh, you were not. Okay.
No.
What do you think about that? Just the idea of having officers.
Well, we have 5, and I respect each and every one. I know all of them all very well. They do a fantastic job, and they interact very well from Allied to Hoey, which is Officer Sullivan. And Danielle's in there. I feel like I'm missing a couple in there, but Cheese is in there. Sorry, you probably don't know Cheese by his nickname. That's his law enforcement name, but Densberger. Just a great group of people, a really great group of people, and the perfect fit for the schools. So
there's layers to it, isn't there, Tracy? We know, obviously, if a disaster happens, a shooting on the campus, boom, you got somebody there. But there's so much more to that. They're getting to know these kids. They're getting to know police officers and understanding where they're coming from. It really is a whole sub-level to that.
Right. They're helping the kids. And a lot of times they just need direction. And I think that's what this team does the best. They're there when whether the child's having a problem at home and they just don't, rather than lashing out, they're talking to them and working them through it. So, yeah, we have a great team. I mean, everybody thinks, we got 5 of them. You know what? They got their work cut out for them.
Oh, yeah.
And I think their personalities lean to more, these kids come to them and they respect them. So they're staying out of the other side of the law enforcement.
Right. Yeah, Dan, did you have officer friend? We had officer friendly. Used to come out of our school, Queen of All Saints, sir, back in the day. Did you have an officer that came by?
I don't recall that. And gosh, I graduated in 1990, and we didn't have a resource officer. We had a recruiter from the U.S. Army.
All right, thanks for another time. All right, we're going to talk to Tracy about the third ward, what's going on there. I want to get his opinion on a couple of things, including the data center. But we got a story here. I can lead with that one, Dan. We had a pretty wild car chase out here in DeKalb.
Yeah, motorists led authorities on a maniacal car chase. This was in DeKalb County on the afternoon of the 17th. It began in the Kingston area when the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office received a call about a female driver at Glidden and Wolf Roads screaming at passing drivers, then exiting her SUV, running into traffic. Minutes later, 911 callers reported multiple road rage incidents near Peace and Fairview on DeKalb's south side. Police located the SUV doing burnouts. This was near South 4th and Gurler. But she sped off when she saw police come into view. Police say the Hyundai was running red lights, passing vehicles on the wrong side of the road. Sycamore police used stop sticks to flatten the tires near the high school, and the driver fled on foot before stumbling and falling. She's been identified, 38-year-old woman, Kara Hale of DeKalb. She's facing a slew of charges, including aggravated fleeing to elude, improper passing, and violating Scott's law when she nearly struck a deputy and his squad.
Wow. Boy, talking about going for the gusto there. Boy, she really... Now, two things about that one. I know, Andy, we were talking to Chief Bird about high-speed pursuits and when to call them off. And here's a case, too, where this woman is just driving crazy. Kind of let her go and then, try to keep a beat on her, but don't risk more people by chasing her at high speed, right?
Correct. Yeah, a lot of times, people get, if you terminate them, you probably generally know who the license plate are, and that'll generally lead to who the person is.
Okay.
Or someone else, this was not point Dan made. This is broad daylight too. This was not a sun's down after hours type scenario, and so it's even more dangerous. More people are out.
Will they lock the schools down? Good
soft lockdown. I read, and which is the right thing to do because precaution in today's world. And generally chases are terminated, and unless of course it's the perpetrators escalated it to the point where more action has to be taken. So it's a fine line anymore. It really is.
Jim Winters let me take the simulator, some simulated events, and one of those was walking up on a car with a tinted window. And I know one scenario, the person is there with a gun. Another scenario, you ask them for their driver's license. But in a case like this where the woman's already shown mental instability, what's the best way for an officer to approach them at that point? I guess with obviously the situation and the elements of the situation there. But
that's always that's the unknown.
Yeah.
You never know what you're dealing with. You really, in all the years, tinted windows add to the problem. You yell at them, roll your window down so you can see them. Generally, once you see someone or talk to them, most cops can understand that, or will understand. You get that feeling. You'll get a feeling on how someone's going to act, and that's generally it's your gut. I trusted my gut for a lot of years, and it hasn't failed me. So yeah, I think it's just it's a gut reaction. You know what people are going to do, and kind of go with your gut. No, you're good.
Was there a moment where you did have a gut reaction in your 35 years with just a moment that you like this might go a little further if I don't do this?
Boy, you're really dating me here. I've been retired 10 years, and I can't remember what I had for lunch. Not off the top of my head. I think I had a pretty good career. I worked, pretty much the entire spectrum of the police department. Sheriff's office back when I was there in the 80s, there weren't many of us out there. So those were probably one of the more stressful ones because your backup, as probably Annie told you, there's a lot of miles. DeKalb's a big county, so you rely on.
Were you alone mostly in the patrol? Or?
Yes,
really?
Back then. DeKalb County had 3 zones, what we called North, Central, and South. South was Perry Road to the county line south. There's not a lot down there. No. Not back then. Far fields, and you got used to them. And I remember the only 2 places I can remember getting coffee was at Shabana Nursing Home, if everybody remembers that, and Sandwich PD. But they only maybe had 1 officer on or 2. So, you really relied on your instincts very heavily.
I believe it.
and
That's great.
just yeah. Maybe that's why I'm the way I am today. I look,
Well, there's nothing wrong.
that or my kids put me this way. I don't know which, but
All right, put your Alderman hat back on.
Yes,
because
sir.
I want to ask you about that with the data center. Now, you were not able to be there for the meeting, and I was telling you I watched it on the YouTube, and I know people spoke for 2.5 hours.
Right.
And then they immediately, a unanimous decision to pass it. And again, it was about half and half people voting for and against, or speaking for and against, but then they kind of waived the second reading, kind of rammed that through. And I was telling you off the air, I know Joliet, they just recently voted down to a data center.
Right.
And I know Yorkville is building one the size of Central Park, which I can't even get my mind around. And then I believe it's Aurora right now where it's pending, where a lot of people are concerned about having it close to where they're living.
Right.
So what are your thoughts about that? Because DeKalb is expanding, and hopefully we'll kind of work out our way south as well. But
yeah. Well, DeKalb's expanding. You're absolutely right. I mean, we're looking with this latest annexation all the way to Kesslinger Road, which is, it's really south. I mean, when I growing up, the tollway was probably really pushing it. So now you're talking several miles. Data centers are, as we've talked, it's one of those, I don't want to call them evil necessities,
Necessary evil, yeah.
but they become a necessity to society. I mean, as you and I talk medicine, they need these superpower computers that they can't store when they're in their hospitals, or they don't have enough room or whatever. So they need that storage technology to function. I think people are more and more are getting rid of servers within their own businesses. So I one day thought, what if all these companies are getting rid of their servers? Are we not just transferring them to another spot?
Right.
In reality, gaining better technology for everybody, especially medicine. As you and I talked, I'm really high on medicine. I think that's going to technology data centers is really going to improve medicine. As far as the data center, I mean, I got a lot of research when we knew it was coming, and obviously I had to be out of state. Some reason I had to go to my daughter's wedding in Florida, but
But the second one is not using water; it's using gas cool. So the
Correct.
big concern. I know people. I didn't realize that the other data center we have already, what they're limited to 500,000 gallons a day.
Yeah.
That's a lot of water.
That's
right?
a lot of water.
Yeah.
Now, that's if they need it. Now, my understanding is a lot of these data centers, nobody wants to spend money. It's like you tap water running at home. So you turn it off. My understanding is they take in the water and they use it when they need it and they store it and then they filter it. My understanding is there's high filtration for that because obviously they don't want a lot of this stuff into the server rooms at risk or whatever.
Right.
Again, these are probably some trade secrets we're talking about too down there. We can all kind of guess about it. I don't know, but 500 seems like a lot. But I know our water system can handle it because if you can remember, Northerns use a lot of water, but they don't have the students anymore. We're down to roughly half of the students we used to have
Right,
when we were
9,000,
around 25. Remember the years when it was 25,000?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of water usage at NIU, and I've always wanted to wonder how much did they use? Have we just literally transferred that over to the data center for use? So people talk about water usage.
But that was
It's just a different way. So anyway,
As we move forward to this, it sounds like it's a done deal now. So is there any going back now? Is there any tweaking the program? Because I know they're very, very about the aesthetics and putting trees and things down and
Right.
things of that nature as well. But that's I didn't realize was the hum. They were talking about this hum, and
Right.
people that live by other data centers say it is a problem. And I was telling people I have tinnitus and a constant ringing in my ear. My wife always jokes, "Doesn't that bother you?" And I said, "Not if I don't think about it." But
thank you for that, right? I do the same thing. I didn't think about it till now. Thank you for that.
But that's a very real concern, isn't
Yeah.
it? I mean, if you
Yeah.
suddenly have a hum, from a mile away, I don't know what the distance we're talking about. But,
I looked at it. I know there's berms around this one to push the hum, if you will, up.
okay.
There's hums. I mean, I just realized, when we were talking about the other boutique data center that got turned down, the high lines, they hum, and they have a very big hum.
Okay.
The actual power lines. So I don't know if it's similar. Maybe outside of my realm, but
Okay, well, that's
there
fair.
could be a hum. Edit that out for me. But I think the goal is to push that hum, if you will, upwards. Now, I understand technology on these data centers, using AI, as we've talked, is changing like our weather.
Even as we speak.
As we speak. So maybe they're coming up with, my understanding is this is also new technology from some, I'm going to call them, can we say kids? Because I'm getting up there.
There it is.
Which are extremely smart. And I don't know. I got to do a little more work on that one.
Oh,
So
I
I'll be
understand.
very honest with you.
Appreciate
So.
the answer, brother. And then you know why hummingbirds hum? Why hummingbirds hum? Dan?
Their wings.
They don't know the words. They don't know the words. That'll be all the words.
I was going to not want to walk into that one.
All right, what do you got for news there, Dan?
Matt Anderson is now the City of DeKalb's Water Resources Director. He succeeds Brian Favour, who retired in January 2025, I think.
Right?
Correct.
Matt Anderson went to Ohio State, graduate of Ohio State University, Cyclones. He's also a big Bears fan because sometimes at the Sycamore City Council meetings he couldn't talk because he was screaming the day before. He previously he holds a Class A public water supply operator certification and a master's in leadership and accounting from Aurora University. He will oversee the city's water operations and capital programs, including the construction of the new, I want to say, shallow well, a transmission water main loop. You know, when I bought a house in DeKalb, I remember the realtor saying, I was looking in DeKalb and Sycamore, the realtor said, they got really good filters in DeKalb, really good water.
Yeah.
No issue.
Award-winning water, right?
Yeah, these jazzed up filters or whatever they are.
Right.
So anyway, so Matt making the switch from Sycamore to DeKalb.
Right.
And take a moment to talk about Brian Favour and all the years of service he's given to the DeKalb, please. Tracy, how did you know Brian well?
Yeah, very well. Yeah,
Tell us
worked with
about
him for real great guy. Great guy. Ryan was always there for you. You call him with a question, even on the law enforcement side. Hey, I got a water main break. He was always there. Whether we 30 below zero, he made sure his crews were there. Brian, our water system really. Brian has got us to where we are today.
Yeah, I know we spent a lot of money on that plant, but in hindsight, no question that we should have done that, right?
No, I mean Matt's, and I've known Matt as well forever. He'll fit right into the mold. He's got his. I talked to him the other day. He's feet on the ground and running with that new shallow well to help us on the west end, and it's really just supplementing our large water that we planned for years and years. Probably I'm going to guess probably close to 20 years before we started some of these major loops. He's doing the water project. I think we have one going on the south end of town, and we're running, I think a 16-inch main comes to mind running down all the way down to Kesslinger Road. But
Okay.
our water supply is great. And not to go too far on that, but there's also a plus to that is it helps with our insurance ratings. And because, now we have a large supply for fire hydrants. Should someone have a fire, we have plenty of water.
Yeah, we had Scott Simon was our guest last week, and also the new fire station, right, lowers your insurance rates
Correct,
because
yeah.
how quickly they can get to your house,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's
Very
and
cool.
no one wants to pay more than you have to anymore.
No.
So I just got my bill, and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't died but had a claim. So, but
Now, the other thing I want to ask, we're visiting with the third ward Alderman Tracy
Yeah.
Smith from DeKalb, is the new truck stop. Now, when I think it was Cohen Barnes saying, we've been wanting a truck stop, new travel center. It reminds me of Donald Trump when he was saying that they've been wanting a ballroom forever. Like, who's they and who's been wanting a ballroom for the last several years? But I understand why we want a truck stop in DeKalb. Again, it's the money. It's all about the money.
Right.
You get the revenue from the sales, and we can look at the one in Rochelle and how that one plays out. But what are your thoughts about that? Because again, we're talking about covering 114 acres of prime farmland to
Right.
put this in. So what are your thoughts on that?
it's needed, and I'll tell you why. We have some major distributors down in the south end. We have 3M, we have Target, we now have Amazon, we have Faranda. There's a lot of trucks, and
a lot of
I
trucks.
think somewhere I heard 3M is 500 semis a day.
Wow.
That's one place. And if you go down there at night, you'll see them all parked along the side of the road. Really not the ideal spot for them.
No. No, I've ridden my bike there. I couldn't believe that's where they.
Yeah, and a lot of them now are also parking in Rochelle so they can sleep, so they can get to their pickup spots, timely fashion. So it's a win-win to give them over here to park so they sleep and they get in and go. And we're getting them off the roads. We're giving them a place where it's safe. We
What are your thoughts about the proximity to the city of DeKalb and then having this truck stop? I mean, it is off.
Right.
A
It's
ways.
next to the tollway.
Yeah.
And I got to think about this too. When coming back from the airport, when you leave Chicago coming out, there's nothing next to the tollway coming all the way out till you get to DeKalb. I mean, have you ever thought, my wife's particular about, she probably hate me for this one. When she wants somewhere a road trip, where's the McDonald's? We always got to get the one that's right next to the tollway because we don't want to drive too far off. And got thinking about that. It's the same thing. You know, where are you going to go when you're driving down the road? You want to get to the closest to the tollway, especially if you want to get back on.
Right.
So this, as far as I can see, this is going to draw a lot of people that are literally passing
Just going through.
Just
And
passing
we get their
through.
money when they get the gas and the food. Yeah.
Or the diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Now,
just
I was out to dinner with some people on Saturday night, and they said that it's cheaper to get off 88 on Peace Road as opposed to Annie Glidden. Annie Glidden's like an additional $3 more. Do you know about that? Is it-
Probably right. I've never. Is
Yeah,
it?
my wife told me that.
Because they send all the kids to get off at Annie Glidden, it's an extra $3 for the tollway system.
And I'm not sure. There's a reason for the disparity. And
Oh, okay.
forgot.
All right. I'm glad I remembered
It's
that.
3 miles worth.
Was it?
3 miles worth of disparity.
That's a little steep there. All right, well, thank you for that answer about that. So we'll
Yeah.
look for the
I just think I talked to this developer. I a little bit more. They have some great plans, and I think they're a necessity down there. You know, do we want our semis, let's say, driving all the way up into town? You know, if somebody needs fuel or stuff.
Right. And
And-
why would Rochelle get all the money too, right? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you know, we got to look at it that way. You know, there's a little bit of competition, and we also have, you know, we've got a couple truck places, Whirly, Diesels are down there. Then there's a truck center over there where they sell trucks. So it just kind of goes with the flow, I guess, a little bit.
All right, very good. All right, Dan, what else you got for news, buddy?
A bicyclist was struck by a passing vehicle early Monday morning. Authorities say the hit and run happened on Route 72, around 4:30 a.m. The DeKalb County Sheriff's Office announced the collision happened west of a private drive when a bicycle ridden by a 33-year-old man was struck by an unknown eastbound vehicle that fled before authorities arrived. Genoa Kingston EMS transported the 33-year-old victim to Javon Bay Hospital in Rockford with major injuries.
Was it on 72? The guy was riding his bike on 72. Not a good idea. Is it
True, but
at 4:30 in the morning? Still dark, right? And
Yeah,
so-
very-
Yeah, that's scary stuff.
very dark.
I mean, I see people riding out there on 38 and 64, and they're out there on their bikes, and I'm like, boy, talk about a death wish. Because if you know, all the people looking at the phones now these days, and just you look down for a moment. All right, I would not do that, but.
well, they say drive defensively. Yeah, and I would ride defensively, and of course, this guy who hit him should have stopped.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah. That's sad to hear that. All right, Dirty Rain. Wasn't that a song? Dirty Rain? Dirty Rain.
Purple
Rain.
Rain.
I was thinking
Good
Purple
song
Rain.
by Prince.
Didn't we have some dirty rain? We're everybody
We just
complaining.
had, we had Dirty Rain.
Oh, yeah.
Wondering about muddy film on your car this morning? Dirty Rain strikes Northern Illinois. That was that line yesterday in the Daily Chronicle. Northern Illinois was hit by dirty rain caused by wildfires out of the state, including Oklahoma, Texas, and Colorado, apparently. This can happen up to 3 to 5 times a year. One authority said another round of dirty rain can't be rolled out. So, because my car is filthy. I was waiting for the rain to come, and once you know, we get the dirty rain.
That's right.
So my car is actually dirty.
Pre-wash.
Well, you got to write a song called Dirty
Dirty
Rain.
Rain.
Great.
About your car being filthy.
That's a great trivia because November Rain is what I was trying to think of. Was
Guns N'
Guns N'
Roses.
Guns N' Roses.
And what is the little trademark of that song?
It was on Use Your Illusion too, but
No,
that's
but the
all-
longest song ever to reach the top 10. It was 8 minutes and 40 something seconds.
Oh, no kidding.
It's the longest song to go number 1. Today's trivia question. Are you got another news story?
Sure. This is a little creepy. It's not DeKalb story, but a 26-year-old Oswego man pleaded guilty in federal court to phishing Snapchat access codes from nearly 600 women to hack their accounts and steal nude photos, which he kept, he sold, and traded on the internet. Kyle Svarva admitted to computer fraud, wire fraud, aggravated identity theft, and related charges. Prosecutors say that he targeted victims nationwide, including in northern Illinois, Plainfield to be exact, and students at Colby College in May, and was hired by former Northeastern University coach Steve Waite to hack women that he coached.
Oh my God.
Barba is scheduled for sentencing in May. We were just talking about Snapchat. That's a straight. I'm not.
That's the
on
one
it.
that they disappear, right? We were talking. Andy Sullivan was talking about that. Yeah.
Apparently,
yeah.
the content disappears after
Yeah.
you. That's
But the coach is trying to get. Wow.
yeah. So it's again social media bringing out the best in humanity.
Well, Tracy, you've been retired for about 10 years now, you said, but did you guys have a cyber division? Is there a cyber division? I don't know right now per se in DeKalb, but is there a, or is that like taken from the state somewhere? Or is that?
I think it was just in infancy. You know, it was really, we didn't ever had a division. State police had a lot. I think the AG's office, Attorney General's office had it. But I think it's become more and more prevalent in
Yeah.
local agencies just because of the sheer volume of
Well, I'll print
incidents
out
going on.
I print out the DeKalb and the NIU police report occasionally, and a lot of them it's electronic harassment, electronic. So I mean, like you said, there's nowhere to hide from that. It's just.
We need the data centers, that's why.
See, it all gets back to the data. Now, we just had Scott Zankin here and Lisa Borrell, if I'm going to say her name
Yep.
correctly, talking about the DeKalb 250. You know, it's very exciting stuff. And
Yep.
the mural that's going to be put up on 7th Street. A lot of people wondering about the Golden Gate Bridge. Well, I'm glad to report that we've cleared that up. Obviously, the Lincoln Highway went from one end of the country to the other, starting at the Times Square in New York and then going to the Golden Gate Bridge. So they have that on the picture. But a lot of people are like, why do we have a picture of Golden Gate Bridge in DeKalb?
Route 66,
There is-
or Lincoln Highway, if you will. Yeah.
Well, what do you think about that? What they're doing? You know, we've really beautified our city a lot. You know, with the painted plug, and then we got the utility boxes have been covered. You know,
People, you know, it's a catch-22. You know, it's like here we've got the side of a building with nothing on it, and we used to have a mural up there, and had been up there for years.
Yeah.
And I think the ability to paint the side of the building, especially with people coming on Route 38, a lot of them coming in, people don't want to pay the tolls, you know, give them really something to see as you're coming into town. You're right. The controversy, I just had one last night about that. I'm like, guys, it was not meant to be, you know.
reflecting DeKalb. Right?
Correct. It's just the highway that we're on, it has a lot. But we've been doing a lot, and you know, we've got the mural behind City Hall, for example. That
Beautiful, yeah.
You know, but people, we just approved another one for the walkway, which I think
That's the artist we to Alicia who's going to do that. We talked to her about that.
that
yeah.
was, I really like that one. My wife really thought that one was pretty cool.
And that's the walkway folks don't know between Van Buren Plaza and downtown DeKalb. There's a little walkway there.
Correct.
Going to have some lighting, some really neat lighting there.
Yeah, so it's nothing else can go there. I mean, there's a couple benches and improve the lighting, and you know, people like to see that. You know, especially if they're out and walk. And you're right, we are improving the overall look of DeKalb. I mean, you come up Annie Glidden Road, for example. I mean, it's got NIU all over it, and
I've been around
I
long
think
enough that there was a controversy when they wanted the power lines. There used to be power lines in downtown DeKalb, and they wanted to bury those. And people are like, let's not spend the money on burying the power lines.
Right. But it looks nice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of foot traffic downtown. You know, I mean, we're not obviously not in the middle of the winter, but I think there was. But you know, we've got a lot of new restaurants downtown. People want to go. We want to go to the Egyptian. We got a lot more shows there. You know, Alex keeps rolling out shows there,
Yeah.
and
The ABBA cover. Dan's all excited about the ABBA cover group that's coming there.
ABBA?
ABBA? Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, you got to give people something, and you know, we want to get all ends of town. You know, everybody forgets about that little stretch from 4th to 7th or 7th to 10th. So the skating rinks down there, they're doing a fantastic
They are.
job.
They're really,
I mean,
great marketing by those Dans. Yeah.
a lot of kids, and a friend of mine owns a little store over there on the corner of 7 Lincoln, Kitty Corner. He loves the mural. He said, it makes people think, you know, that the city cares about that end of town. So
Very good, yeah.
I like it. I really do.
Very good. Dan, you got one more news story? Or no?
I
That's
do.
okay?
The Illinois Manufacturers Association is promoting the Makers Madness contest. You can choose the coolest thing made in Illinois. Nominations will be accepted through March 8th at makersmadnessil.com for any product manufactured in the Prairie State. Extended voting they'll whittle down the field to 16 and then begin voting again March 10th. It's bracket style. So
I like that.
they will make the award on April 15th. Doesn't Chicago Bears, are they made in Illinois?
I don't know. And now that we went go to Iowa, now you're the Iowa's talking. Iowa's trying to get the Bears.
Indiana.
Never should wait in Iowa. Can you bring that? I mean, what is? How could Illinois let this happen? All right, well, did you say, Dennis? Jack Benny, there'll be a special here. The DeKalb Library is doing all kinds of wonderful things for this next year in honor of 250. We were talking about it last week that Jack Benny, of course, is from Waukegan, Illinois. Just a great guy. So check that out. That's coming up. There's all kinds of great things coming up in the next couple of months. 5 things to do in DeKalb County, and that's being brought to you by the Stagecoach Players Theater. Gypsy is running this weekend. I just talked to somebody who went to the show last weekend, actually, who won our tickets on our broadcast here, and said it was a fantastic show. So great job there. Again, Gypsy runs this weekend at the beautiful Stagecoach Players Theater. Call for tickets, 758-1940, or go to stagecoachplayers.com. We got the Abba tribute that I said Dan's heading out to on Saturday out there at the Sandwich Fairgrounds, at the Sandwich Opera House. Gypsy, we mentioned, is this weekend here at Stagecoach. Fatty's Craft and Beer Whiskey. Fatty's Pub and Grill will host a Craft and Beer Whiskey Expo 1 to 4 on Saturday. I'm sure you'll be there, Tracy, right? You got a private spot?
Normally, yes. Normally,
liquor-
yes, but no, this time I will be out of state. So
Okay.
again, yeah.
We went out to Whiskey Acres last Saturday, too, and I'm not a brown liquid drinker, as we say, but they had a couple of ways to drink it out there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, once you have one, that starts to flow, baby. Dan, you've done some brown liquid in your day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lovely venue. They had
Yes.
a great musician. They had a duo, and they were kind of like comedians, too. It was a good time at Whiskey Acres.
Very
I
good.
have to embarrass you because you were complaining that you couldn't get a beer at Whiskey Acres. Dan was upset that he couldn't
I
get a
was
beer.
so gauche. It was a gauche move by me. I ordered a beer, and then I realized where I was. And that was...
Can I have a whiskey beer?
The Loud
That's how you-
Lizard, Loud Lizard Party is coming. The Warehouse. Have you been to the Warehouse in Genoa? Really neat little venue that they have.
No, I have not. No.
The Warehouse in the Park and Joe hosts the Lounge Lizard Party featuring Clifford Talaglia, the Rod Stewart Experience this Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. Now, I like Rod Stewart music. You like Rod Stewart?
I always liked his voice.
Yeah, with that raspy kind of... and he's still hanging around, still playing soccer and doing things. He's like 80. And Windy City Pro Wrestling is coming. Barb City Beatdown. Windy City Pro Wrestling will come from Saturday night from 7 to 9:30 there at the DeKalb Sports and Recreation Center. Several wrestlers are expected to appear. Click for more information because, I don't know, Tracy, I grew up watching wrestling with my brothers with, Dick the Bruiser and Moose Cholak. And
We just
Baron-
had wrestling
Baron
in the
Von
house.
Raschke with the claw. And it's funny how that's continued. Every
It's just,
generation.
and my generation was just us brothers wrestling. So it's like,
Okay.
maybe, I don't know, not to that extent, but yeah. Yeah.
Dan, are you a wrestling fan?
I was at a Christmas party, and this guy who grew up in the 80s like me. We were reminiscing about the movie Vision Quest.
Oh, yes.
Matthew Modine.
That's when he was going to be a big star, Matthew
Wrestling
Modine.
movie. Yes. Journey on the soundtrack. But no, I didn't mess with the wrestlers. They were the toughest dudes in school. Tougher than the football players.
Well, I only wrestled my freshman year, and I'll tell you this between the boys here was we get in there and they're teaching the fireman's carry, and he goes, "You want to go there and you want to grab the junk? You want to grab his junk and flip him over this way?" And he goes, "You don't grab his, he's going to grab yours." And I'm like, "Time out, coach." I'm like, maybe I don't want to be a wrestler. I don't want to be a wrestler anymore. It's like, you don't grab his, he's going to grab yours. Like, wait a minute, no, I'm not great. And then trying to make weight. I have the girls wrestling team here, DeKalb High School
Yeah.
girls.
Yes.
Incredibly successful too, and we were talking about making weight, and now they're so much more aware of how you can lose the weight. We were just starving ourselves, turning the bathroom, turning the hot water on, trying to sweat and stuff. But they've come a long ways. We'll talk about that here in sports. But again, we have the Corn Fest is coming.
Yes.
Now, Trace, you've been around. A lot of times you see a lot of the same names here, but that's why they're popular, right? So
Right.
you got Austin Hopkins is coming on Friday. Cashmere, I'm assuming that's a Led Zeppelin cover band. There's no wrong with that. Seventh Heaven, they're very popular.
Very, yeah.
On Friday, and then Saturday, it's going to be Mr. Myers Trio, Tim Gleason Full Band, Priscilla's. Now they're really good. They played at the Taste of DeKalb. They're really a good. Cover a lot of old rock. Bon Journeyed. We can guess what they're playing. That's from 7 to 9 o'clock. And then I don't know. I must have missed this when the 2000s tour is going to feature Chris Kilpatrick from NSYNC and O-Town and Ryan Capletta and LFO. None of that means anything to me. Does that mean anything to you guys?
Is that In Sync?
Oh, In Sync. Okay, all
Is
right.
that what it is, In
That's
Sync?
one. Oh, it's In Sync. Yes.
And O-Town was
NYS. I'm filling it out.
Boy, that one's
So that's one of
no
the
clue on that one.
That's one of the lesser-known members of NSYNC. Then there, I see. Okay, and then O-Town, was that another boys
that was
band?
like a boy band manufactured for a TV show.
And how about Ryan Cabrera or LFO? I know ELO.
I know UFO.
Yeah, UFO.
Sorry, guys.
All right, and then,
Who's the headliner, by the way?
on Sunday, the headliner will be that. Will be those guys.
Okay.
The 2000 throwback, they're calling it. And then Sunday, you got Jack Evans' 80s and 90s country. See, I love that when they spell out what they're going to play. Grace and John duo acoustic from 2 to 3:30, and then filling up with hillbilly rock stars there. So again, you've watched the Corn Fest through the years, Tracy, and we moved it out to the airport a couple years
Right,
there. And,
yep.
A lot of people didn't seem to like that. There was a lot of room out there, but I think it's great to be downtown, right?
Correct, yeah. You're right. The draws, I think the draw is downtown. And for all the businesses down there, I know it's a little bit of hectic for them, but I think, a lot of them adapt it. The restaurants, I seem to think, love it. It's, now that the downtown's been, beautified, if you will, it's really cleaned up. And
Yeah,
I think
I
after...
know a lot of the stores used to close for Corn Fest. But
Right.
now they're, like you say, figuring out ways to get people in the door.
Correct. Yeah, people want to get in. Especially if it's hot, they want to go inside where it's cold, cooler. And, I think
Yeah,
corn...
the Fun Store, is that, I should remember the exact name, the Fun Store downtown, they were offering free bottles of water to people during Corn Fest.
Yeah. So, it's a good draw. It's part of DeKalb. It always has been. And, we still have the corn boil, even,
Chuck C. Brass Corn Well.
yeah, we still have that, which is always a huge draw. It celebrates NIU coming back, and it's just a win-win, I think, for the community. So
Very good. Well, let's take a look at the world of sports, and that's being brought to you by Faranda's Fish Fry and Community Fundraiser. It's from 4 to 8 o'clock every Friday now until Easter. All kinds of great food there for you from 4 to 8. Soup, salad, a dessert station as well. Full-service bar, non-alcoholic beverages, and kids menu available. Because I was not a fan. Remember, I grew up an Irish Catholic, and Fridays we ate Mrs. Paul's fish sticks because none of the other brothers.
I do remember those.
That was the only thing near fish that we would do. I don't know what actually was in there. I don't even probably want to know what there. But other entrees are available too for you if you're not a fish eater too. For instance, like corned beef and cabbage, they'll have as well. 10% of the sales would donate it back to local nonprofits. Correct. In 2025, Faranda's Fish Fry raised over $4,500 for local nonprofits, including Safe Passage, Elder Care Services, and more. Join to 2026 and make this year even more impactful. Now, have you been there on a Friday night?
yes, we have a couple times. Yeah.
It's really a great deal there. It's like I said,
Yeah, it is. And Bill does a great job down
Yeah.
there. Staff's great, and there's always a line. I think he runs out. I think he literally.
I think they have,
I
yeah.
think he has run out. So yeah, great, and especially giving back to the community. Bill's always been that way. So
Yeah, talk
great
about Bill
place.
McMahon for a minute, because he's just a fantastic guy. Now I'm working with Timothy, one of his sons, and boy, the acorn doesn't fall far from the tree when you meet the kids. Just respectful and hard work ethic and just all the things you want to see in young people.
Yeah, Bill's been around a long time. As we know, he's downtown Lincoln Inn, and he's just got a great business ethic. He sits on one of the city commissions as well, and I think he's still there.
Yeah, he is,
Now that I haven't seen him in a while, but just great business ethic. He really does, and he's got a good, strong family backing, and like you say, the kids are all in there and working hard, and we really do. So
It's great to see it, really. So support them if you can. And again, don't miss that fish fry. Again, every Friday now until Easter. Thomas Hammock, NIU coach, now moving on to greener pastures there. He's going to go for the Super Bowl winning Seahawks there. After 7 seasons, the leading Northern Illinois University football program head Thomas Hammock has resigned to return to his coaching position in the National Football League. I guess he was the running back coach for the Baltimore Ravens back in the day before. What a great guy. But, when he signed that huge contract, it colored me cynical, but, they had that great year before that, and he signed the huge contract. But overall, his record was 35-47 in 10 years. The Huskies were 3-9 last year, but they did win bowl games in 23 and 24. And, of course, the huge win against Notre Dame.
Right.
That's one that'll live in infamy here.
that in Alabama.
That in Alabama, yeah. So what do you think about Thomas? Do you know Thomas well?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Great story.
You know,
he was a running back for NIU.
Yep.
He talks about Coach Novak and the influence that he had on him, and then went off and obviously in the NFL, and then worked his way up to be head coach at NIU.
I think sometimes those opportunities, you can't turn them down, and I think this is one of those. I read somewhere he'll be the highest paid running back coach in the that's pretty good coming in.
Yeah.
You know, so he's a good guy. I mean, for the players, I believe, still like him a lot. But again, opportunity knocks you on the door. You got to grab it and run. And
We had Cole Latimer, who was going to play 2 sports at NIU, just a great, outstanding athlete at DeKalb High School, and Davon Grant. And I brought up the portal because I know coaches. I know Thomas Hammock hated the portal.
Yep.
But here's the case now where Coach is leaving, and some of their freshmen coming in, there may even a sophomore, was assuming that Coach Hammock was going to coach them all the way through. So they looked to the portal now. So just as a general sports fan, do you like the portal? Do you not like the portal? Because there's a case where the kids can use it because it's going to be a new coach. They don't know who's coming, so use
I think
the portal.
the portal needs to be tweaked. How's that?
right.
Let's look. I think, I agree. You get a coach, you think you got a good team, you got 20 kids, and next you turn around, lose one game, and 30 of them have hit the portal.
Right.
I'm like, how do they lose 10 more, the numbers? And they all have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And they're all trying to make a name for himself. But the world, I think, is in, you're competing for dollars anymore now in college ball. So that's what these kids are looking at. And the other thing is NIU moved to Mountain West, which is a great, I was planning my trips, let's see, to Air Force and
Hawaii.
Las Vegas, Hawaii. I don't think the wife, is on board on that. But I'm like, hey, we're going to watch the football game. It's just But I think it's a great chance for NIU, in the Mountain West. Now, I drew a blank on who they named as interim coach.
Oh, I got that.
I can't remember him, but I think Coach Hammock's staff will pick up like nothing ever happened. So I'm sure he had them all prepped for this and for his move. So
Yeah. Oh, very good answer there, John. I can't find where the
I just saw that.
head coach, defense coordinator Rob Hartley.
That's who it was. Yeah.
Will be the interim head coach there.
Yeah.
For right now. Now I was telling you guys that the podcast I just did last week was with the DeKalb girls wrestling team. Incredibly impressive. As a matter of fact, they're sending 4 girls downstate.
Yes.
We talked to Alex Perez. Alex, take this quote from Alex here. Alex Perez said, she stepped foot on the scale at the start of the Class 3A divisional sectionals, and she said she knew I was going to repeat as champion. She had said she had done so much hard work and practice that she knew that she was ready. And once you knew it, 35 seconds later, she pinned the girl from Oregon for her 4th trip downstate.
Yeah.
So I talked to these 2 girls, and their mental ability is amazing. Ariana, who wrestles at 235, had lost her bout to a very good wrestler. And rather than get down about it, she says she took it as a learning lesson, and she had knocked the girl down, but they were out of bounds, so she's got it as a positive, and she's using all this momentum because she'll see her again in the state finals.
Right.
But just the mindset of these girls just so impressive.
Strong, very strong.
Very strong.
Yeah. And wrestling at DeKalb has always been known for wrestling.
Oh, sure.
I mean, for years ago when I was in high school, years ago, always been very strong. We sent not only boys but girls. Both DeKalb said, "Come on." I think even Kingland sent one down. Is sending one down. So it's nice to see girls participate in the sport. And
Who would have thunk it, though? And the young girls we were talking to in middle school, they wrestled the boys. There was no other choice.
Yeah.
They had to wrestle the boys, too. And it's come that far. And it's the fastest growing sport in the state of Illinois. Now, Dan's got 6 kids at home. Any of the girls thinking about wrestling, or any of the boys? Anybody wrestling there?
My boys wrestle for at Huntley.
Okay.
And they love the coaches, and it's just a great sport.
It is.
It really is.
It's a real sport too.
Coach Connor Infelis. I want to mention Connor, a great job that he did too, and great to get to know the girls there. And again, that beginning of the state. So we're going to drop that podcast on Monday. That's what we say in the industry. We're going to drop it on Monday so people can hear that. And then February 28th is the state finals down there. I did a little research on girls wrestling. Girls wrestling in the United States transitioned from a carnival and sideshow attraction in the 19th and early 20th centuries to the fastest growing high school sport in the country today. As of 2026, it's officially recognized as the 91st NCAA championship sport. So I didn't realize there's
don't they have
90
flag football too for girls now, right? A big one,
right,
yeah. So I remember my daughter playing in the pom-pom game. I'm like, oh, that girl could play football. My daughter, so.
First high school girls wrestling team was in 1993, the Brookline High School in Massachusetts. The first college team was the University of Minnesota. Again, the fastest growing sport in the state of Illinois. And they had surged from 804 girls in 1994 to 74,000 girls
Wow.
in 2025.
Wow.
That's some growth there, I'll tell you. And then the official NCAA sport, the NCAA officially designated women's wrestling as the 91st championship sport with the inaugural national championship scheduled for the winter of 2026, and that's next week.
Going
So,
along. Well,
how
great.
cool is
Great
that?
job.
So And again, very impressive. The coach, very impressive by him as well. And again, that's a look at sports. Thanks to our friends at the Lincoln Inn. Don't forget, again, the fish fry. Friday nights there, fish fry at Faranda's, again, from 4 to 6 o'clock. And don't forget, 10% of that money goes to local charities as well. So check that out. Maybe they should have a little thing in Mrs. Paul's fish sticks there. Don't you? That's for,
it's a different quality. All right.
And of course, we like to take a look at the obits because I always tell people, Tracy, when we used to work at the radio station, people used to have to pay to have their obits
Yes.
put on. And so we thought, let's just acknowledge these wonderful people. Heather Galbrath was a young lady who we lost her at the age of 37.
boy.
Fun-loving, deeply caring. She loved the outdoors, had a gift for finding beauty in small, unexpected things, whether mushroom hunting in the woods, searching for unique bones and natural treasures, or turning her finds to creative crafts. She felt most at peace hiking wooded trails, kayaking across quiet waters, and most of all, camping with her family. She treasured time camping. She shared a special bond with her nieces, brought them endless joy, and she was a kind aunt that always showed up fully ready for adventure. I just read the book about the young man that went to Alaska. You know that story where he wanted to just walk into Alaska and unfortunately passed away. He was living in a bus for a while, but his idea was to get away from everything and just become one with nature.
Right.
But he was ill prepared. He had none of the stuff that he needed, and unfortunately, a river overflowed and he ended up passing away. But the idea of just like you and I the three of us were just talking about AI and social media just taking over everybody's world, and the idea of just walking away from that completely. I think many of us can't imagine. Every once in a while, my wife and I will misplace our phone. Like, oh my God, where's my phone? It's like,
Oh, no, my watch tells me where it's at. So.
the watch. Okay. But that's really interesting, though. And,
Yeah, it is.
Bonnie Rome, age 80 from DeKalb, married Larry Roman in 88 in Las Vegas. Bonnie was employed at the Little John Elementary School, DeKalb Bank, and First National Bank of Omaha. She was also a Girl Scout troop leader and den leader. Bonnie loved Harry Potter. Now, all my grandkids read all the Harry Potter books without any prodding at all. Do you have the same thing with your kids? Do they read the Harry Potter?
Yeah, I believe they all have, yeah.
And Dan, is that
My
popular in your house?
Yeah.
And nobody prods them or anything. They just do it.
They just do it, yeah.
That's amazing. And this is what I like. She also loved Disney trips with both her. He was just going to Disney.
Oh, yeah.
Going to Disney trip with both her granddaughters. She enjoyed the White Sox, especially Carlton Fisk, and then Snoopy and Elvis.
Stupid Elvis.
I think that's a pretty good group. Carlton Fisk, Snoopy, and Elvis. Who better? So our thoughts and prayers are with her family there,
Yes.
Bonnie.
Yes.
And then this one, you were just talking about your 104-year-old.
Yep.
This was Violet Shalin, born in 1919. She was 107 when she passed. Born in rural Shabana.
Shabana, yeah.
And I bet it was mom or dad delivered that. Well, mom obviously had the baby, but I'm guessing they didn't take her to the hospital then. I bet she had it right there on the farm. Graduated from Shabana High School in 1935. She married Robert in 1939. They farmed in rural Waterman until 1978. Bob retired. Active member of the United Methodist Church Women's Group, became the oldest member of the church. She was a farmer's wife for many years, helping operate a farm, had a large vegetable garden and canned the harvest crops. She worked at the Rocket Pizza in Waterman for a while, became a nurse's aide in the DeKalb Public Hospital, and then went to Kishwaukee Community Hospital as well. There's that work ethic, because I know that
Yes.
people that work on farms do a lot of work, and it's 24/7. My wife had a chicken farm there in Sugar Grove, and talked about how hard her mother worked, and they
Right.
plus raised 10 kids as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So
It makes you get up a little early.
Yeah.
You got to get up
and
early.
you can't
so.
take a day off, right? You
Right.
can't say, someone else about to come.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And vacations are limited. So
Violet was a loving, compassionate mother and wife, and she will always be there for her family. So again, we'd like to acknowledge those
Yes,
folks there,
yes.
and just some wonderful people in this. Sad that we acknowledge them when they're leaving, but I know most of the people, especially the greatest generation, that were World War II veterans, that they don't talk about it. They never talk about it. Some
Correct.
people in the family that have no idea. Oh, Grandpa was in the World War II, and you go, you should hear what he did. My uncle was a Marine. I didn't know that until I was in my 20s or 30s. I never knew my uncle was a Marine.
Right.
Just amazing what they do. So kudos to them. All right, Dan, you're going to formulate a trivia question here for us in just a moment. And of course, we also do our friends at the DeKalb County History Center always send over this date in history for us. So we'll take a look at that. If I can find my phone. I'm a trained professional. How did I lose my phone here? All right, Dan, why don't you give that question now? Well, you're probably going to ask what they're going to win,
What
right?
are you giving away?
Well, funny you should ask that, because we happen to have a deluxe car wash from Mural's Full Service Car Wash and Detail Center. Again, this is a $35 value. Becky and I were just over there the other day with one of our cheaper cars, and you do the $5 car wash. It's a great deal over there at Ralph's.
Right.
But Ralph, this is for a deluxe car wash, a $35 value, plus 2 gift certificates to Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches,
yep.
and more. John Finney, you know John pretty well there?
I do.
Just an amazing guy. You know, we
Yes.
were talking about that fire that happened, and John immediately sent pizzas over when he heard about the fire. Just an incredible
Yeah,
guy.
John and I went to school together, and his son went to school with my son, so been around a while.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Dan, what do you got for a trivia question?
Okay, City of DeKalb has a new water resources director. What is his name?
Or you can tell us that, riddle us that, and you get answered at tdryan2001 at yahoo.com, tdryan2001 at yahoo.com. And again, want to thank our friends at, now, have you been over to the County History Center at all, Tracy?
Actually, been a couple years, and they've remodeled since then.
Yeah, they've really, they keep adding to that.
Did a lot of remodeling over there, so which is great. You know, we got to preserve our history. Once it's gone, it's gone. So,
And I was talking to Dan about the fact, learn your local history first. You know, how great to do that, and then, then expand from there.
right.
So this is different from what you see in the midweek. This is our own special. Sycamore City Council, February 1876, passed an ordinance providing the organization of the city fire department, which was consistent with what consisted of one superintendent, one fire marshal, and two volunteer companies, each composed of 22 able-bodied and respectable citizens of the city. Bonds for the start of $12,000. What would it cost to build a new fire station?
12 million. Doesn't that sound about right? I mean, they just opened. I think they just rolled it in on Tuesday. So
Yeah. How about that, though? And so 22, so they had two companies of 22 volunteers. So 44 volunteer firemen back in 1876. How great is that?
yes,
In 1904, DeKalb Commercial Body Corporation, familiar with that? As the Sycamore Wagon Works, in Sycamore, became Sycamore Wagons Works. The company specialized in horse-drawn commercial wagons. Wait, see what they went out of business.
technology.
The company later moved to DeKalb and began producing commercial motorized trucks. And finally, a few near misses at First Street, First intersection in Taylor Street, and the Fairview Road in DeKalb Township installed a stop sign. In February 1976, our bicentennial year, they created a four-way stop sign where there had been two-way stop sign before. These intersections are still four-way stops. So I know right where that intersection is. They're right by the cemetery right
That's
there.
right. Yep.
So I'm glad it's a four-way stop. That's good to know. And finally, we get to the birthdays. I want to mention some birthdays here, and that is, of course, Mike Davis, my stepbrother's having a birthday tomorrow on the 20th. Steve Landis of Sycamore on birthday on the 21st. Steve Graves of Parts Unknown on the 21st. Ryan Alderson of Campton Hills will have a birthday on the 22nd. Cheryl Brown of DeKalb on the 22nd. And Brad and Susanna Cessna of Maple Park will have their 7th year anniversary. And Dave, the legend Bevito, will have a birthday
Wow.
on the 25th of February. You know Dave well?
Yes, I do.
He is a good character,
Yeah,
just
he
a
is.
tremendous guy.
Yeah.
We got to work with him at the radio station, and what do you say something about Dave
Dave,
that you can say?
I remember
That you can say.
calling All Hit WDEK and requesting some Bruce Springsteen song. And Dave was like, yeah, I might get that on the air.
No promises. That's great. Well, Tracy, again, Tracy Smith has been our guest, the third wall alderman in DeKalb, and I was hounding you, Tracy, and I didn't know you were having problems with the family. And again, I'm so sorry about your mom, but why do you keep doing what you're doing? We were joking off the air. I was telling you I just about turned 66 and just working part-time now, and the retirement is a very interesting word. It's scary and refreshing all at the same time. And you were saying, you got to keep yourself busy, don't you? So
Right.
how long you want to keep being an alderman?
Till people kick me out, I guess. Maybe how's that? I think I'm doing a good job. I look forward to it. There were challenges. DeKalb had challenges when I came on. My biggies have always been, our roads, our infrastructure, and traffic. Let's slow some of these people down.
Yes.
And I am proud to say, I hounded city manager, staff, and we said to put almost $5 million on roads here a couple of years ago, 2 years ago now, and we've been steadily, hitting those, and that's important. And the other thing is, like I told the chief the other day at the last meeting, is, they're starting to hit traffic a little bit. A lot of my constituents have been worried about traffic, and as you know, I have Sycamore Road, and it just looks like a drag strip some days, but they've been hitting them hard, and big thanks to them for doing that. And just to Fire Station 4, just improve our infrastructure to make DeKalb a better place. And I think we are getting there. We are getting there. You know,
Very
we're
good.
industry. So
Well, speaking of big things, a big thanks to you for all your years of service to the city of DeKalb. You continue to do so. We thank you for that. And,
Thank you.
Raising your family here, it's wonderful. We really appreciate it. And I love the fact that some of your siblings are right there still in your ward there. That's kind of cool. Dan, we always give you the final word. What you got for a final word, my friend?
Well, there was a hit song. I don't know if it charted in the 60s called Indiana Wants Me.
Amen. Lord, I can't go back there. This is the police. Give yourself up. That was just like that. Give us the police.
And I was just reading about the Bears possibly. It might happen.
See, how do we even let them? And then that's right. Iowa has put together a proposal too. Like, you know, the Iowa Bears. Yeah, sure. Why not?
I asked Bill Nicholas, you know, hey, would you consider luring the Bears out to DeKalb?
There we go.
He wouldn't even discuss it.
All right, let's leave it at
Thought
that.
it'd be a big score for DeKalb.
Again, our big thanks to our new sponsors there again, the Junction Eating Place and Takis Takeout, and our friends at Faranda's Fish Fry. A big thanks to my nephew, Michael Davis, for getting this thing on the air. And that's TD Ryan News Podcast number 35.